we have heard your questions of what happened with Georgia's pass defense. How did Mississippi State do that? And holy heck, what does that mean for the Texas game? That's what we're here to answer with Film Don't Lie from UGAsports.com, presented by Breda Pest Management, ASW Distillery, and Oconee Gold Barbecue Sauce. We're going to go through 18 defensive plays here in pretty quick order, Brent. Some of this just pointing out some things of where people are aligned, some things that can be cleaned up, and some positive plays. This was not all bad for Georgia's defense, but when you project ahead to the Texas Longhorns, which we'll also be doing this week on Film Don't Lie, I understand some of the concerns. Let's address these.
Yeah, it's concerning. The totality of the game is concerning. And some of the things watching it that Miss State does and Jeff Lebby does from a formational and the way they use misdirection to confuse you, also concerning. But there's a lot of things where it's just you're one or two plays from completely and utterly dominating this game and everybody feeling like, all right, Texas, it's Texas time, let's go, versus down in the dumps feeling. So it's going to be an interesting one.
Let's start with Jaylen Walker, first play of the game.
This is what he's got to do. We talk about if he's going to play inside backer, and we're going to show some plays where they don't do this with him. But if he's going to play inside backer, stun him. Get him going forward, make plays. He actually he hits the lead block, runs by the back, and then comes back and then still makes the play. Like boom, and then comes back, makes the tackle. Like he is a havoc creator when he's able to just go. See ball, get ball kind of stuff. When he has to sit, read, and react, and we're going to like one of their long touchdown run, it's a struggle. So do more of this.
I keep with him. It's not a perfect comp. I can understand this, but do you remember when Georgia had Jarvis Jones and would let him really be free to do what he needed to do pass rush wise at the line of scrimmage? And part of that was because Alec Ogletree was so versatile behind him. I wonder if we get to the point that Malachi Starks is for sure the star and KJ Bolden continues to grow. I wonder if there's more potential of some of that. Different coaching staff, different everything. There's not many comps other than I just liked how Jarvis Jones was so impactful in those games back then, and I think Jaylen Walker can be that in Georgia's pass rush.
Very much, and in the role he's playing now it's very much a Tyndall role if you think back to 21. But yeah, more of this, less read and react, more go get.
How about some more Ingram Dawkins? It feels like TID every
sudden
week.
Change. Obviously, this was right after the tip ball interception where it's like and not going well. But this is how you run an inside stunt. Just boom, and you see Stackhouse coming around the other side. But that's just, it's quick. And watch the step, big first step, long
very
second
wide,
step.
Very wide base there.
Yep. Get to where you need to go because the guy's not going to adjust, and then get square. Boom, get square, and then make plays. Like, that's as good as it gets. And if you look at his like PFF grade, if it wasn't for, he's got 6 missed tackles, which I think is actually a high percentage as it relates to his actual opportunities. If it wasn't for that, he'd be their highest graded defender. And he's already played more snaps than he has at any point in any other season, already more pressures, more sack. Like he's had more pressures this season than he's had at any point. The totality of his career prior to this, he's been playing just consistently out of his mind, great along the defensive line.
Do you remember the year that we did the highest grading returnees based on PFF and it ended up being Malik Herring?
Yes.
Kind of getting some of those vibes of, just consistent production, explosive. Mm-hmm. It's really good to see because, man, this is a guy.
Position, by the way.
Yeah. I just didn't think Tyre Ingram Dawkins was going to amount to much at Georgia because of the injuries. It's just a lot to overcome. And for him mentally to stay in it long enough to be able to get to this day. Super, super great success story for Georgia because that guy will have a chance to play on Sundays, and I wouldn't have told you that 3 months ago.
I agree wholeheartedly.
All right, let's get into this. Is a 3rd and 13 in the first.
So right after Ingram Dawkins play, this is one of those foreshadowing moments, and I'm sure a lot of people saw this. But if the quarterback's worth anything in the early part of the game, this is a completion, and who knows what after that. Like you're beat off the line, you're talking about Julian Humphrey at the bottom of the screen, by the way. In man, playing cover one, you're bringing everybody up. Like you're beat.
And this is not just missed. This is as dreadful as a pass as you'll see in the SEC.
Yeah, and I mean, there's hands in his face. And I will say, if you're Raylan Wilson, you got to also have a clock in your head. I'd have jumped a little, maybe a half a count earlier. I think he's waiting to for the release, the separation of the hand from the ball. But I'd have jumped earlier just because of the own mental clock. But yeah, this is, like I said, a little bit of foreshadowing.
Well, and before we started the show, you and I were discussing that for these throws to have happened on the opening drive, and really I think the second as well for Mississippi State, and then for them to come back and throw for more than 300 yards, I actually thought Jeff Levy did a really good job coaching of mainly keeping Van Buren's confidence up to get to that point. Really hard thing to do for a true freshman on the road in the SEC. I was impressed by Mississippi State's coaching considering the talent on that roster.
Yeah, and the announcers couldn't stop talking about it either.
I didn't get to hear them because I was doing our own show. So
yeah,
thanks. I guess me and Taylor Zarzer have something in common at this point.
Yeah, no, he kept talking about it over and over and over and over again.
All right, so now we have, is this Chaz? Yeah, yes. Working in the reverse.
Hey, there's a reason the dude consistently plays. There's a reason he's their third highest graded defender. There's a reason he's just, this is, and by the way, Texas is going to run reverses. Texas is going to, misdirection you to death, make you defend both sides of the field. Stay home, get out of my way, quarterback, and I'm going to make this play. By the way, and he also now has the best tackling grade on the team.
Really?
Yes.
I don't think most fans would have guessed him.
No, and it's all my fault. I'm going to talk about it later, but it's all my fault that actually is the case. But he does have the highest grade tackling grade on the team now, and one of the highest in the country, by the way. One of the 20 highest in the country.
Chaz has been excellent for 2 or 3 weeks in a row now. It's good to see for him as well.
Other than one penalty that we're going to show a little later.
Yes, there's some penalty issues, but we've talked about it a lot this year. Who's the emotional leaders on this team? This is one of them.
All right. So also one thing to point out, bottom of the screen, it's hard to see because of the stupid shadow, which by the way is very annoying watching on TV. Watch Daylen Everett at the bottom of the screen, flying up the field, late to react, kind of gives a little pull there. Luckily, it's a run, not a pass. That's one of those where coach in the box is like, okay, he's coming up on the run. Because if you look at the formation, let's check the formation again. You got 2 receivers to the field, and the end guy's on the line of scrimmage, so he's covered up. And then the touchdown later is the exact same thing, except they just hand the ball to the reverse guy on this.
Good shout. Let's get to some of Georgia getting beat vertically.
There's just no anticipation here. And this is one where Harris it's a phenomenal throw. And when you talk about confidence, after the kid hits this, his confidence shot through the roof, I think. But right about the sticks, it's hard. You can't see on this angle. You can see it in all 20. Right about the sticks or a little past the sticks, Harris kind of throttles down a little bit, almost like he's anticipating the receiver to break off a comeback or stop, as opposed to thinking. And this is something to me that is when you look at Georgia's secondary and even some of the back, I would say back 7, not necessarily front 4, but situational awareness. Mississippi State up to this play had 13 plays for 5 yards.
Ooh.
In my head, I've got to have, to me, a situational awareness. It's like, okay, look, we are kicking their hind end right now. They're going to try to take a shot. They're going to try to change some sort of momentum. And they did and made a play.
And so this is shortly thereafter. I thought this is a really fun little play design because here I could argue that kind of halfway looks like a QB power right.
It does, except for a couple pieces, but it's one where it's the same thing. Situational awareness. It's 2nd and goal from the 24. It's not 2nd and goal from the 4, and they're trying to power it in. But 2 things with this. One is I don't understand. We'll get to Everett in a second, but is Malachi not going to help and just let the guy run by him? That was one I was kind of curious. That very much so. Why that awareness?
Where are his eyes? I guess is the question. All on quarterback.
Not sort of seeing that. And I think so. But two, watch the quarterback as this. So they're running, it looks like a Q counter right now. Does that look like a quarterback who is running the ball?
No. That
No.
ball is not tucked whatsoever.
That is not the point of that ball is not covered. He has got that thing on the threat. He's wanting to throw that football. He's just giving that illusion. And that's the one where if I'm Everett and my eyes are on the cue, that's little details that you got to see. That's situational awareness. And he takes one false step and then boom, beat.
Right.
And
there.
the other thing is 84 is not trying to block you. 84 is trying to not get past the line of scrimmage. QB was not really a running threat, as the gentleman Z-Dog here points out. He wasn't really that much, but yeah, this was bad. It wasn't good. And by the way, I talked about the formation. Go back to just pause it there. Again, receiver on the other side of the field. You're in the short. There's no receiving threat to your side of the field other than the back.
Yeah.
The guy in the slot at the top of the screen can't go out for a pass. He has to either catch a bubble or block. So Texas does these kind of things from a misdirectional standpoint where they make you to feel, and I think when we get to Texas, and we're going to preview Texas in the next day or two, they make you care about both sides of the field. Like Tennessee, a lot of times when we talk about Tennessee, it's like, hey, they spread you out to run inside, or they're going to look one side of the field and the other side of the field is just going to kind of be hanging out. Texas makes you think about both sides of the formation of the field at all points because of the way they use misdirection. That's what this is doing.
Pay extra attention to who's on the line of scrimmage. That's what you're telling me.
Always.
1st and 10 from Mississippi State.
This is a completion against Texas. Look, you got 3 yards of separation there. And this is one where we talk about it's the same thing over and over again. The receiver is breaking and being done in and out of the break where there's no reaction there. It's just too late.
So is your solution play more up on him?
I don't know, honestly. And I think that's one where willing to live with those completions versus being deep over the head. I don't know. I don't know. Don't know the situation here.
But this is important to point out that Georgia had opportunities to have been beat in the passing game much more than in the third quarter when we really saw this display. Up until I would say at this point, it felt like Mississippi State hit 2 deep passes and that was it. And we've already shown more than that.
And it's one where this one actually, it's good. I think Humphrey tries to get his boom in phase right on the hip, turns, and I think he tries to get his other hand, but the receiver's also keeping his right arm down. And almost makes a great one-handed catch.
Yeah. This was where it looked like to me, Brent, that Lebby and Mississippi State had changed the game plan to, or maybe altered to what they wanted to do the whole time. It could have been that, which was we can just take shots on these guys.
Yes, and we're just going to keep taking shots.
Because we're winning some 50-50 balls. We're not throwing interceptions. Can't run the ball. So this is what we're doing now. At this point, the shift has happened for Mississippi State.
Yes, and I'm also going to, and I told my son I was going to do this, but I'm going to use him as an example for this play. So pause it right now. All right. So in the game, high school game Friday, on the goal line, my son was the sort of
which high school game? Which team were you talking
that
about?
That would be
Brent?
North Oconee Titans. Big win over East Side. He was the forced defender on the goal line, and they bring he's a very strong kid, but he's 165 pounds. They bring 6'2", 240 at him. And he tries to take it on, and that doesn't end well for him. But it's one of those things where we talked about it. I'm like, hey, who says you have to be blocked? Because the goal is what is the ultimate goal of any defensive play? Get the guy with the ball, tackle the ball carrier. Make a fake, make a move, especially on the goal line if you screw up, they're basically in the end zone anyway. Watch Braylon Wilson here. This drives me insane. And I'm not necessarily picking on him because I think this is more of a Georgia problem than it is a him problem. That's great right here that you blew up the running back. No, it's the other side.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I had the wrong one.
So Raylan is the right linebacker.
There we go.
He kind of he sees that the back stays in for delayed blitz. He sees backs in protection. All right, now I'm going. He hit the linebacker really hard, or the running back really hard. Guess who has the ball? The stinky quarterback has the ball. Let's hit that guy. And if you, it's hard to see on that angle, but on the all-22 angle, he had a direct path to the quarterback. But instead of getting at the quarterback, I'm going to hit that guy. It's like playing. We talked about this with Humphrey last week when Humphrey made a great play against Auburn, where he's like, okay, I don't need to mess around with getting blocked. I want to make plays. And I think too often, if you watch Georgia defensively, they want to be physical and take on blocks and be physical, as opposed to getting around blocks and making plays. And that's one where it's like, if he goes a straight line to the QB, his timing is off. You might hit him. Like, it's just a completely different play in my mind. So that was frustrating. And more so because you consistently see that where it's messing around with guys that are trying to block you as opposed to making the play with the guy who actually has the ball. Anyway, rant over.
This play later in the second, I wondered if Paul Johnson was coaching Mississippi State on this play, because we had some chop block action down here.
And I will say, I think I'm going to apologize to the Georgia fan base here. This play is my fault. I tweeted out before, like a couple days before the game, that Dan Jackson was like had the top tackling grades in the country.
Not from lack of effort. He came flying in there.
And he missed 2 in this game, which by the way, it's still fun to watch him even miss tackles, because he's playing 100 miles an hour. And you want to see that, and you want to consistently see that. But it's the same thing. Watch what I'm talking about with, I think it's Allen and Raylan Wilson again. Get off the block, rip through the block, quit messing. When you get, and I know in the interior, you always talk about sort of stack shed as an interior defensive lineman. Yeah, like you said, cut block galore. But on the exterior, like, rip through that, get off that block, go make plays. So, and then Humphrey misses one. But by the way, tackling in general in this game, it wasn't like they only missed 5 tackles total in the game, 2 on one play on this play. So a lot better tackling where it's been a problem.
You want some pressure on a 3rd and 9? Here comes Starks.
Micah Williams. He's giving you all he got. Like, you can see that he's not healthy. I'll say that. And I think what was Kirby's number after the game? I think he said 88% or something like that. But like, look what he does on the interior here, taking up the guard and then through the back, and I think deflecting the ball a little bit, or at least causing the path, because like the arm length is insane as he reaches up for the ball. But you watch him after the play, and he's just his bounce when he's high, when he's happy and celebrating, there's a little bit of a hesitation and I wouldn't necessarily say limp, but it's just he doesn't look healthy, and he's giving you all he got right now. Chris Cole, by the way, also too, getting his hands up.
Yep.
You're going to need that pressure. You're going to need the pressure next week, and you're going to need him to give you whatever he can give you in the snaps that he can give you next week, and then hopefully you get the break and then get healthy for the stretch run.
This was also encouraging to see just the growth and evolution of KJ Bolden getting his first interception here.
He was also a really great receiver in high school. Like, you can either play the ball or you can't. And it's one of those skills where, like, I've even had conversations with folks, and like Nick Saban has said, look, ball skills I can't really teach. Guys just have it.
Yeah. And
he's got that ability to go find it, see, play the ball. And what he's done this year is just phenomenal. Right now, 76.3 overall grade, 79.3 coverage grade, which, by the way, leads the team in his coverage. 8 receptions, 13 targets, only 44 yards. That's a 35.4 passer rating when he is in coverage and targeted. Like, he's playing really, really, really well, and I think he needs to be on the field all the time.
Yeah, increasingly. And it sounds like that could give them options of what they want to do with Malachi Starks.
Yeah.
We've kicked that around on this show quite often now. All right, if you can do Bolden and Dan, because both of them are playing
Yep.
good football.
Mm-hmm.
I get that against certain teams, Dan and coverage may not be the greatest thing, but Dan's been one of your best tacklers all year, despite what we showed earlier. It's fine, even though you tweeted it out.
I think you get your best players on the field, and that's one thing I'm very curious to see against Texas is how much Starks does play.
Yeah, and I thought Aguero had a solid game. I still think Aguero is a valuable piece in this defense. I hope people don't hear me saying that and say that, oh, he doesn't have a role. No, I think Aguero definitely has a role. All right, you mentioned Chris Cole earlier. This is penalty world.
So think about up to this point now. It's 34-10. They've got 96 yards on 2 plays, and outside of that, maybe like 20 yards, like hardly anything. And it's 3rd and 7, and you just went down and scored in a heartbeat to open the half. And you get, boom, penalty. Like, got to keep your hands inside. Gets his hands outside. And this is one where what's interesting about it is this is where the Munden injury comes into play. That's his role normally. So now you got the true freshman coming in. And then 2, I also thought it was interesting. We can zoom back out a little bit. I also thought it was interesting that you see a lot of Ja'Cory Thomas and them going to dime, and you get Ja'Cory Thomas comes in. The thing is that this is a tight end, so it's personnel matching. So that's why the outside backer is in, and you're in obviously in man-to-man everywhere else. Nobody else wins. There's not a win anywhere else. This is the spot. You're off the field, and then you get the penalty, unfortunately.
Yep. We have been off the field there, and then we have a 1st and 10 here in the 4. Still same score. I mean, this is just like, is this a zone beater? Is that all this is?
No, this is like the first play. Remember the first play against Alabama where Everett came off the edge and Williams was just kind of sitting there so look at the cover. All right, so stop it there. You don't see the other safety on the screen. So you're in sort of a quarters looking show where you got 2 guys on the outside with their hips opened up. So they're, you think, deep quarter, Dan, and then another safety in the middle of the field. But at the snap, you see Aguero come off the edge, and now Dan's rolling down, safety's rotating in the middle of the field. You're rotating into a 3 deep coverage. Like, it's a great call into that. The thing I don't understand and would love to know is why you're sending that defender into that look, because you've got 3 receivers to that side of the field. And then now you've had a penalty, you've given them 1st down, and now the quarterback makes a play. I think the ball actually seemingly it got tipped maybe a little bit. It looked like when you look at the trajectory of it, that's why it died a little bit.
That'd have been Gabe Harris tipping that?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, Damon Wilson.
Oh, Damon Wilson. Okay, yeah. Man, I cannot see these numbers very well.
So, okay, now they got some confidence. Now they're rolling. But again, you stop them. You set up 3rd and long, which we got on the next play.
Yeah.
And this is one where it's just unfortunate, and he didn't need to.
Helmet comes off, flag comes in.
Great move, great way to we talk about push up the field so it makes that guard fly up. Everything about this was good until that left hand went. I think it was his left hand, got the face mask. He didn't need to.
The unfortunate thing, too, is that this happened. It extends this drive. And if you remember, on Georgia's next drive is Carson Beck's interception at the end zone.
Yep.
So this is a 24-point game right now. If you get this stop, you get the ball back with
either, by the way, the Cole penalty or this penalty. Like you just that's
this game fell over before this sequence. And then after this sequence and the subsequent offensive sequence, everything felt like it changed. And Mississippi State actually had a prayer to get back in it.
Yeah, and just think about, you get off the field here. You get off, and by the way, I think they might have actually gone for it. Not with that, if the sack had counted, but they may have gone for that in that sort of situation. But even the Cole one, like you get off the field there, they're definitively punting to you. You go down, you end it and everybody's just in whatever. If you give up 20 more points in the game, everybody's kind of like, yeah, whatever, because you were up 31.
And it was out of sorts when you have these penalties, and Mississippi State has not developed much of a running game all day, and then here's a gas run.
This is one of those where you always laugh when I make the noise.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of this play's frustrating.
Is your
because it's when Jaylen is on the interior and just has to sort of read and react. So all right, a couple things here. Back up just a little bit. Watch Kirby at the bottom of the screen. He's jumping up and down. Arms are going like crazy. He's basically telling Aguero where to line up. Like, hey, back up. There, he's coaching him right there. And so they're in man. So man across. So because look at Humphreys at the bottom of the screen. Aguero instantly goes out for the bubble. So he's obviously not part of the run fit. Right? So when you think about that. Okay, so let's go back now to run fit. Brinson actually gets off the ball too quick here and gets up the field too quick. He beats the guard and the tackle between them. Boom. Now he's up the field too quick. All right, so now any sort of edge set or force defender is gone from there. Well, guess who now is the force defender? That's Jaylen, inside linebacker. And he sits and sees a hole and then is blocked. Versus, back it up just a little bit more. Right now, to me, he should be driving his shoulder pads through the outside hip of that tackle. Like right at that guy. And being right on his outside hip. And because if he does that and that back has to slow down anyway, he's caught from behind. Look at Damon Wilson right there about to catch him. Or you've got help inside it with your other backer. Like
with Raylan
instantly
coming from that way.
You're lost. And then for some odd reason, Dan Jackson takes two steps too many inside. And now he's blocked. And by the way, he obviously got held like crazy right here. Like ripped, turned around. But it didn't matter at that point. Like you were beaten at so many spots that, that was a frustrating play.
You're saying that's one that in the team meeting, you're just going to get a whole bunch of people called out and being like, if you'd done this better, like 4 or 5 guys.
It's probably choice words in that on that play.
Fine. All right, so now we have late third quarter, first down run. This is one I was kind of wondering what KJ Bolden is doing right here.
Yeah, but also the reason I want to include this play, because this is concerning to me. Because what is Sarkisian, above all else, uses formations and uses things to get you into spots that he now has an advantage, or at least he thinks has an advantage. And if I can go trips to one side, especially in second and long, by the way, this is situational stuff. If I can go trips and go spread, no tight end, almost like there's a tight end in the game, but the 10 personnel spread you out and only put 5 in the box and run on you, that's not good.
Yeah.
And Raylan does a good job here of striking and finding, but he just picks the wrong side. So this is one where if I'm Texas and I'm watching this, okay, second and long, they're going to walk off because they're playing pass, and look at CJ Allen. CJ Allen's back is turned to the interior.
Yeah.
So that's just those are little things like that. And I agree, by the way, KJ. Ugh.
Yeah. Like, why are you not just putting your face in there? This is one where Raylan, this is man coverage across board, has the running back, and this is just Raylan doesn't recognize or begin.
Because instantly the thought is, I would think that the general sort of you're generally watching this, you would instantly think that, right?
You thinking he's not on the back?
I don't think he is. Because
then who is?
So I'm curious, because
I just can't believe
the numbers and the matchups.
I can't believe 12 would turn his shoulders if this is not Raylan.
Because obviously it's a man, they're bringing pressure. They're right on the goal. It's 4th and goal. Boom, almost get to the pressure, man to man. But let's look back and sort of count the numbers. So let's go from top down. All right, top of the screen. That's covered up. Boom, those guys right there. Right, the second receiver, offset tight end, Malachi Starks on him. All right, so now we got the third. So we got tight end. Aguero is right in front of him, and in the tight end that's lined up on the ball here on the right. Yeah, him.
Yep.
Aguero is with him, and now you got an outside receiver. And you would think that to me, if you're in man across, looking at this, okay, is KJ a single safety, or is he on the back because of alignment? Alignment to me tells me he's got somebody in coverage. But he goes with the outside receiver. And then Humphrey also doesn't go with the outside receiver. So to me, I'm like all sorts of who screwed up on this. It could be multitude of players, by the way.
Do we just want to call it a mess?
I tried to listen to Kirby's press post-game conference or listen to and see if it was something he actually mentioned, but he just said we left the back. He didn't say sort of who specifically. But the other thing that doesn't make me think that Raylan has the back is he's going straight forward. Like he's not screaming to the back right here and like trying to hustle and chase down like, oh crap, that's my guy. I'm going to go get him.
So you think potentially KJ should have had the back here? Or hey, 12 has whoever comes outside, 4 has whoever comes inside. I don't know. I would love to know the conversation in the room. It's confusing enough we can't even develop a hypothesis based on the data we have.
But the massive part about this, and this is something that I've got like 5 or 6 plays. I think it's the third most targeted player on Texas's offense is the running back. Like they love to throw to the running back. So you better, from a communication standpoint, from a who's got the back, that's got to be a point of emphasis all week for Georgia's defense.
I'm
another look it up because I'm curious.
Here's another 4th down conversion for Mississippi State, and I thought this was a beautifully designed play by them, but also this goes back to some of your hypothesis on Jaylen Walker of when he's at inside linebacker natural, not quite as effective.
Takes a false step. He's got no business with the back right here. Chaz has got the back. Like you've got QB at best, but you also got to realize that this quarterback's not a run threat. And by the way, Ewers is not a run threat. He, as of before the Oklahoma game, I don't know that he had any. I haven't checked the stats on that. Before the Oklahoma game, he had negative yards in design rushes. Negative. So he like Arch is a run threat. If it's Arch is a legit run threat for them. But Ewers is not. And if they're going to run this type of play, they're going to run it to throw it. So it's cover the receivers and then make the QB run. But yeah, you see the false step that he takes, and then he's, I got to get back out here. Uh-oh.
To some of your point here too with CJ Allen of like, are you trying to get blocked here? Are you trying to get? I guess he's trying to get to the corner. That's not fair for me to say.
He's
trying to get to the corner.
Reacting and get to the ball and get where the ball's going. Reacting. But
that's just a good block by Mississippi State.
They had the arc, good play design, good arc, because he's the play side backer arcing, coming around. That's exactly how you would design it.
Yeah.
You just get that false step. They create the false step, and then boom, you're gone. So it's a lot of these things with eye discipline and knowing who you have. Like Sarkisian is the utter master of misdirection. Like beyond and it's just he is the guy. They run. By the way, Texas play, and I did look. The Jaden Blue, the running back, third most targeted player for Texas, and the tight end, running back and the tight end. So covering the running back and the tight end for Texas is going to be very important. But looking at this week, they make you they run play action on almost 50% of their plays. There's some sort of run action consistently. It is a lot of these eye candy, eye discipline issues that we've pointed out all season. If you don't have them corrected or if you aren't in line and sort of handle your business against Texas, they will exploit you. They will exploit you massively.
I'm going to give you 3 options on this, and you can say all 3, or you can say none, I suppose, if you want to. Based on what you've seen from Georgia's defense, in this video specifically, what we reviewed from Mississippi State, but maybe the rest of you if you want to go there, what would you be most concerned about heading into Texas? defensive penalties that keeps drives alive for the opponent, lack of sacks and pass rush if you want to go that route, or getting beat over the top in the secondary.
Can I actually say none of the above?
You could say what you want to, but
D,
I
none of the
figured
above.
I
Tackling.
figured most of our audience would have picked one of those three things.
I agree, but to me, tackling will be the issue. The one thing with pressure that I don't as much with the way Sark designs his offense and with the way Ewers runs it, by the way, Ewers, not Manning, Ewers. The ball is out quickly, very quickly, and also not necessarily consistently down the field. Like his average depth of target is one of the lowest in the country. If Arch is playing, completely different thought process. Arch is looking to murder you down the field. And he's beyond impressive to the point where, like, if I'm Georgia, just instant thought on this game, I like my quarterback better. I feel like I have the better quarterback in the game.
I'll save that for a Texas preview because I'm interested to hear why.
Now, the thing with Ewers is he obviously got more comfortable in the Oklahoma game as things went along. But just even watching him the game, I think he,
I'm confident we have the best partner.
But tackling, by the way, would be my answer to that question.
Check out Oconee Gold Barbecue Sauce, OconeeGoldBarbecueSauce.com. Use the promo code Film Don't Lie, and you can get 20% off from an order. I think you should get all the sauces because they're all amazing. You're pointing to one behind you, and I can't see which one that is because
the white gold. It's the white gold.
Actually. That's a good one. Also, check out ASW Distillery, distilled by dogs. 5 of their 6 founders are UGA grads. They have the Hunker bourbon that's making its way onto shelves at wherever you buy your spirits, or they had the Hunker vodka last year. Anytime either the Hunker products are sold, Georgia gets money to its Classic City Collective because ASW Distillery has partnered with Classic City Collective for Georgia's NIL efforts. Georgia plays Texas this week, so if you're using Tito's vodka, just understand Tito's has given millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to the University of Texas. So if you're drinking Tito's at your tailgate, that probably tells me that you want Texas to have better football players than Georgia. And if you don't want that to be the case, then you need to get Hunker vodka from ASW Distillery for your mixed drinks. It's going to be a late night, so I think you can make some good stuff out of that. Breda Pest Management, BredaPest.com, the official pest control of the Georgia Bulldogs. Thanks to all of our Film Don't Lie partners for partnering with us all season long. They are fantastic, and we are very grateful for them. For Brent Rollins, I'm Dayne Young. This is it for Georgia's pass defense against Mississippi State. If you're watching live, we're coming right back live to chat about Georgia's offense, I believe is what we have going. I can't remember if I have that or play of the game. One of the two is about to come up. We'll see you here shortly.